Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way for a news update around one of Watford's star players. And that player in question is, of course, our Colombian superstar, Yáser Asprilla, who has actually just recently returned from international duty with Colombia after unfortunately losing to Lionel Messi and Argentina in the Copa America final. But congratulations to Colombia for making it all that way. Unfortunately, Asprilla didn't play too many minutes. But as I said, this big news story today is in regards to Yáser Asprilla's future in European football, ultimately. And the news that we've received from a Colombian website called Antena Deportes is that Borussia Dortmund are negotiating currently with Watford for the permanent transfer of Yáser Asprilla. Sources close to Asprilla have stated that Borussia Dortmund want to complete the deal discreetly and out of the eyes of other clubs to avoid of course, approaches for the player from other clubs around Europe. And also senior figures at Borussia Dortmund are viewing Asprilla as a key signing for the future as they look to invest in young talent. So Antena Deportes, a Colombian website, a Colombian source, I think that's the key factor for me in this story, that it's actually coming from Colombia, because we see reports all the time around Watford players that come from sources that maybe aren't too reliable, but this is a Colombian source, not very well known really for UK football fans, but they actually directly reference sources close to Asprilla and sources close to the Colombian national team have informed them about these negotiations going on, which for me is quite concerning, because at the start of this transfer window I highlighted three key Watford players that I didn't want to see leave. Now, one of them players was Georgie Chakvedadze, who of course has recently returned from Euro 2024 with Georgia. There's been no rumours around him, which I'm thankful to see. I'd love to retain Georgie Chakvedadze at Watford this season. The second player I didn't want to see leave was Ismail Kone. Now, he's gone to France and joined Marseille for about £15 million, which is a fair deal for Watford, I do believe, albeit I would have much rather he stayed at the club. And of course, the third player I wanted to retain was Yáser Asprilla. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we had some rumours with Arsenal and potentially them signing Asprilla as a backup for Bukayo Saka on that right flank. And yeah, now it looks like a few clubs in Germany are looking at Asprilla as well. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund are the big club mentioned in the article, but I think Bayern Munich are potentially interested in Asprilla and are sniffing around as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yes, as I said, the big news today is that Borussia Dortmund are apparently in advanced negotiations with Watford for Asprilla. Sources close to Asprilla have stated that Borussia Dortmund want to complete the deal discreetly to obviously avoid interest from other interested clubs, and senior figures at Borussia Dortmund view Asprilla as a key signing for the future. Now, when I read the article, it was all in Colombian, so I had to use my translation skills, aka Google Translate, to go through the article and find out the key details. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this potential deal with Asprilla joining Borussia Dortmund? Of course, they wear yellow as well, so he'll be joining another club who don the yellow colours. But in terms of clubs I'd want Asprilla to go to if he had to leave, I think Borussia Dortmund would be a good fit, actually. I think at Arsenal, at Everton, maybe he'd be maybe underutilised, but I think at Borussia Dortmund, you've seen in recent years, obviously developing Jude Bellingham, Makoko at Dortmund as well. They have a plethora of young talent that they like to bring through. And I do feel like that would be a great environment for Asprilla to go to. Now, in regards to a price tag, I would like Watford to attain. Ismail Kone obviously has recently just left for £15 million. João Pedro left a couple of seasons ago for about £30 million. I don't think Watford would unfortunately be able to attain that that high of a transfer fee for Asprilla just because of the position we're in. We've been in the Championship for a few seasons now. It's been, you know, good few years since we were in the Premier League, and clubs know that we need the money. Of course, we've just started doing a fundraising thing, you know, opening up the ownership to fans to buy into. So it's clear Watford do need funds. And I think actually you saw Ismail Kone leave for about £15 million. I think Asprilla, £15 to £20 million, if we can get a deal in the range of that. I think Gino Pozzo would be pretty happy with that. Now, if we do get that much money and Asprilla does leave, firstly, I think it would be a huge loss. I think it would be a real struggle to replace him. Hopefully, Watford can do so if Asprilla does leave. But so far in this transfer window, Rocco Vata was a free transfer, Musa Sissoko was a free transfer, and Jonathan Bond, I believe, was actually a free transfer as well. So Watford haven't actually spent any transfer fees so far in this window. So if Asprilla did leave, I would expect as a fan of the club for Watford to splash a little bit of money to bring in, you know, a suitable replacement, whether that's on loan from potentially a Premier League club or a permanent deal. But yes, in conclusion, Asprilla to Dortmund. Do I want to see it happen? Not really, but if it does happen, I think Borussia Dortmund is a great club for him to flourish at, especially on the European stage as well, also playing in the Champions League to showcase his talents in that competition as well. And yeah, hopefully Watford could get in an adequate replacement. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen, but I thought I'd bring you the news update today, as it has been the biggest Watford development over the past couple of days. If you want to keep track of all the latest Watford news, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and of course here on YouTube, and we'll catch you again very soon. Bye bye.